Hi, this is Matt from tracyandmatt.co.uk, and here we are looking at the Samsung Galaxy Beam, the first one that we've looked at, which has a built-in tiny little projector on the top. I'm going to come back to that in a moment and have a look at the rest of the accessories that we see inside. So we have a quick start guide and a warranty card. Then we have a little dock or a holder. This is interesting. It's got a little battery charger in there as well. I think that's actually so you can sit the phone in there on a stand and actually have that there like that, so you can stand the handset in there. That's kind of cool. As I say, that actually acts as a charger as well, so you've got a micro USB connector in there, and then the battery, which I just spotted the fact that we have two, which is quite telling, I think. Actually, Samsung used to provide two batteries with quite a few of their handsets. The i600 was certainly one that they had two batteries with, so they're both identical. What's the capacity? I think it's listed here. Oh, it's oh wow, it's quite a big battery. It's a 2000 milliamp hour battery or 2 amp hour battery. So they're both exactly the same. And you can pop one inside the holder to charge it, and obviously the other one can be inside the phone. So just pop them to one side. I'm going to need one of those at the moment, and that looks like a little LED there to actually indicate charge status. So that's quite useful. What else do we have in here? We have earbuds for the headphones, a wired headset, and the wired headset then is the next thing out of the box. So let's take a look at those. So here we go. We have full pole 3.5mm jack one end, and then a length of cable, an inline microphone with a simple push button for answer and hang up, pretty much. And then the headphones themselves. I've used this actual design before with Samsung. They're sort of the in-ear style earbuds. They're quite cool. They are actually quite good as well. So it'd be interesting to see actually with the launch of the iPhone 5 and the new headphones headset that comes with that, if other manufacturers are going to up their game a little bit, but we'll see. We then have a USB to micro USB sync charge cable, which is a standard, standard thing. And then we have the charger. So designed in two parts, so that I guess so that they can keep it small enough to fit in the box. And it comes apart again to fold. It's a straightforward two-part with a standard USB connector on top. One comment that just really sort of springs to mind is, with having the external charger and having only one cable and one of those, having a captive one of those with that would be good, because then you can actually charge and sync the battery and that separately. That's just a comment. You've got two batteries but only one method of charging them. So taking a look at the handset, and we're going to peel off the protective covers so we can see it better. So taking a look, starting at the front as we always do, we have a 4-inch display, 480 by 800 pixels, not massively high res, but it is one of the standard resolutions that you pretty much expect from these Android powered handsets. Loudspeaker on front. There is a forward facing camera, which is a 1.3 megapixel forward facing. Underneath that we have just a physical button. The capacitive buttons are probably going to illuminate on either side once we actually power up, but a physical push button in the middle. On the left hand side we have the 3.5mm headphone connector on the side, an up and down push button there for the volume. We also have an external SIM tray, which is, I guess, kind of unusual. I suspect that the design is somewhat different in terms of physical layout, partly to accommodate that projector on the top there, which is kind of cool. Anyway, so we're coming back down to the bottom. Tiny hole, which is the micro USB connector for sync and charge. Then up onto the right hand side there is a cover over a micro SD card slot, the power button, and a button there that turns the projector on and off. As I say, projector is there immediately on top, which is a bit grubby. Let's give it a little rub. There we go. The projector there on top. I haven't got the specification of the projector here listed in the documentation that they've provided me. So we'll have to get that when we actually do the full review. And I'll put that in the notes actually when we do with the video. But the projector's there on top. I suspect it's something like 480, 640 or along those lines. But I'll confirm that shortly. On the back we have a 5 megapixel autofocus camera with LED flash further down the back than perhaps would be normal, partly again to accommodate that projector. As a LED backlit projector. Popping the back cover off inside, funky yellow, and obviously that was obvious around the outside there, funky yellow on the inside. Let's take one of the batteries. Interestingly, there is space there for an external antenna, so that's kind of unusual. Let's pop that in there. So really the only thing that is under the back there is the battery, the SIM card and the micro SD card are external under those additional slots. So there we go. Right, so that's all in place. Let me just hit the power button. Good start. There we go, and while that boots up, let me run down the rest of the specification that I have here. So in terms of size, it's 124mm from top to bottom, 64.2mm wide, and at the thickest point it's apparently 12.5mm, and well, in fact 145 grams with the battery, which isn't bad really when you consider the fact you've got your projector and all the other bits in there and a pretty large battery. 145 grams isn't bad. It doesn't feel particularly heavy, to be honest with you. In fact, I've just spotted in the specification that Samsung have provided us with, and it says the projector is an NHD projector. So what's that? Is that a quarter or a half? Anyway, we'll check that out in a moment. So run down the rest of the specification. Sorry, we've got TouchWiz 4.0 user interface. Micro SD card supports up to 32 gig micro SD memory cards, built-in 8 gig of storage and 768 meg of RAM, Wi-Fi supporting 802.11b, G and N standards, DLNA and Wi-Fi hotspot modes, Bluetooth 3.0 with A2DP and HS modes as well. The USB connector on the bottom is USB 2.0, pretty much come to expect that. The 5 megapixel autofocus camera on the back supports 720p video recording and forward facing 1.3 megapixel camera for video conferencing, that kind of stuff. The operating system, according to the spec I have here, is 2.3.6 Gingerbread, which we'll just double check that when we look in the operating system in a moment. And we have a dual core 1 GHz Cortex A9 processor in there as well. I think that pretty much covers the few specs that we have. So let's touch to begin. We'll connect to Wi-Fi because it keeps it nice and straightforward. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's connect to our Wi-Fi network. And just straightforward standard keyboard, as you can see there. Let's go ahead and do that. So we just get our address. It's taking a little while to do that. So we're eventually connected to the Wi-Fi. We'll sign into our Google account. To keep that nice and quick, let's do that right now. Okay, we'll sign into the Google servers. Accept the Google location, all the other bits and pieces. Now we've finished the setup. And there we go, we've started up, so anybody that's seen the Samsung devices before is going to recognise the familiarity of the display and the colour scheme. Time at the top and location with local weather, Google search with the voice search. We have a DLP projector icon, which we very much be clicking on in just a moment. We have Samsung applications, there. Maps, play, shop, phone contacts, messaging and applications down the bottom, and an indicator telling us that we're on page 1 of 7. So swiping across, we have news and email, which obviously hasn't been set up, images and a favourites browser, finance, music hub, game hub, Gmail and Google Talk, social hub, blank, 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 and back to number 1. Looking in applications, all pretty straightforward and standard stuff as far as I can see. Have camera, calendar, internet, gallery, voice recorder, task manager, that's useful, and Polaris Office, chat on, and that DLP projector icon as well. I'm going to come back to that in just a second. I want to look first of all, go into settings, and let's take a look at the About Phone and look at the software version. Yeah, indeed it is 2.3.6 Gingerbread, which is a bit dated, so I'm surprised that it hasn't got a newer version of the OS, but I guess the nature of Android is that we can obviously upgrade it at some point, hopefully. Just want to have a look at display, brightness, and we're going to turn the brightness all the way up. There we go, just so that it's a little bit easier to see as we're going through stuff here. So we've obviously connected to the Wi-Fi already, so take a quick look at the internet, and we go over to our site. Touch screen is nice and sensitive, which obviously it's capacitive anyway, you'd expect that, but not all touch screens, capacitive touch screens are as sensitive, and that's working quite well. Using broadband and Wi-Fi, so we would expect it to load pretty quick, but indeed it does, and pages rendering nice and quickly. This is telling us about tilt. We can use motion using the G sensor to actually scroll through the web pages. Not something that I'm a fan of, frankly, so I won't turn that on, but it does mean that you can tilt the device in order to actually scroll up through it. So we've got a 480 by 800 pixel display, which renders things quite nicely. The actual colour is quite good. It's a TFT screen, it's not one of the funky you know, AMOLEDs or anything like that, Super AMOLEDs and all those sorts of things, so it's just a straightforward TFT apparently. But it's doing quite a good job, colour's okay, and the quality seems just fine. Really snappy at actually turning from landscape to portrait, so that's working no problem. It's a straightforward browser. In terms of other stuff we've got in here, another thing I want to quickly just go and take a look at is just pop into the Play Shop, and while that loads, I'll accept terms and conditions. And if you've seen the videos before, you know what I'm about to do. We're going to head over to download Quadrant so that we can give ourselves a little bit of a benchmark. So let's go ahead and install that. Accept and download. So let's let that install. You may have noticed at the bottom the capacitive touch buttons illuminate only when basically you touch the screen or touch the buttons themselves, and they only illuminate briefly. It's a little bit brief for me, for my liking, but I guess you kind of get used to their placement anyway. So let's, oh well, the notification here at the top there, as you can see, you've got ability to turn on Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, GPS, silent mode, and auto rotation on and off. That's all it has up there. Notifications telling me about setting up Samsung account and the fact that Quadrant has just installed. I'm going to go ahead and press that DLP projector button. So again, it's telling me to press and hold the projector key to turn the projector on and off. So we've got focus and rotation, projector on, apparently. Oh yes, there we go. So let's have a sheet of paper. And the other thing that we're very much going to need to do is let's turn some lights off. And turn another light off. And let's see. Okay, so I'm getting mirrored on the screen, everything you can see there. So let's see if we can actually Oh, we apparently can use the volume keys to adjust the focus and alignment, so it really doesn't get an awful lot better. It's possibly that I am just far too close in order to make that work. That's better. So there we go. In terms of focus and rotation, that's there. So let's see if we can bring that into better focus. There we go. Yep. So there we go. In terms of focus, we have that there. I'm going to click on OK. You've got things here that you've got ClickPad, Visual Presenter, Ambience Mode. Well, that sounds kind of interesting. Okay, so it's just like a slideshow and other bits and pieces. That's kind of cool. What else can we do? Let's go and... Nope, Projector has turned itself off. There you go, that's back on. And we'll turn the... We've got rotation on and off there, as you can see. So let's pop back out of here. And we can actually, that's cool that we can project the pretty much everything on the OS by the looks of it. So let's see, that's the home screen. And then what else can we do? Well, I guess we can go into the it's very awkward actually doing this sideways. Go to the internet. So that's there for web browsing. It's fairly bright actually, considering I'm just projecting. In fact, it might just be easier to with a paper. So it is quite bright, and I can adjust the. No, I can't adjust the focus with the. I can't adjust the focus unless I am in the application for the projector. So we're going to come out of here and let's try something out. Let's go to here. It's no longer listed. Let's go and see if we can find quadrant. Is that going to work for us? Looks like it probably will. Hey, let's give that a go. Let's run the full benchmark with the projector turned on. So let's see if that will run. Yep, seems to be. It's not quite in focus. Makes it a little bit awkward. And obviously I'm hand holding it, so it's exacerbating all the vibration. I apologise for that. I guess that's one of the things you might want to stand for. So it's nearly finished CPU tests. Hopping into memory tests now. I/O test. And then we have graphics. I'm going to slide that up there so that we can hopefully see the scores. 61, 50 frames a second. That's running quite quickly. It's pretty impressive. Yep, 60 odd frames a second, pretty good. 55, 60 frames a second there as well. Again, quite good. And then our final test at 50 frames a second. That's pretty reasonable actually. There we go, so benchmark results. I'm going to switch back to the screen. Let's say yes to our benchmark results, and let's see where we go. Well, it's pretty respectable actually in terms of the results that we've got there. 2,744 is our benchmark there. Let's turn some lights back on. Yeah, so we've got 2,744 our benchmark result there. That's pretty respectable actually, and not too shabby at all. I'll just turn the projector off. So pretty impressive. Fun. I don't know how practical that is, whether or not you might agree. Perhaps the projector is just something that you might want to share photos and things like that with friends, or whether or not I suppose it has sort of valid business applications there as well. Just have a look at what else is in the actual DLP. Oh, we have a thing for torch, so you can make it into a torch. That's kind of fun. The brightness control, that's quite useful. That's going to be obviously very bright, so handy to have a torch control as well. Briefing, oh, that's business briefing. So settings, in terms of projector brightness, we can turn that way up. Yep, so that's much brighter. And we've got timeout and rotation, and help at the bottom there as well. Quick pad, visual presenter. Alright, so we can draw on the screen, as you can see there. It's kind of fun. So there we go. That's our look at an unboxing of the Samsung Galaxy Beam. We'll do a full review for you over the next week or so, and let's see how practical the projector is. It's sort of in real world conditions. Obviously I turned all the lights out in order for us to really see it, but how that would work really in sort of the real world environment, let's comment on that as well. Our review unit actually comes from the guys over at Clove Technology at clove.co.uk, so if you want to pick one of these up or check it out in any more sort of detail and see what they're offering it for, head over to clove.co.uk. In the meantime, if you want to follow us on Twitter, you can do it. It's twitter.com/TracyandMatt or facebook.com/TracyandMatt.co.uk. And I'll be back soon with some more videos and reviews on TracyandMatt.co.uk. But for now, thanks for watching.